cryptocurrency. You are somebody who has spent a lot of time thinking about the defense of the nation, but also a lot of time focusing on new technologies. What do you think about the administration's pushback against cryptocurrencies right now?
Well, I think it's appropriate. We got to take a look at this before we jump forward. And I saw the exchange between Joe and Secretary Mnuchin, and cash does get abused, for sure. On the other hand, what the point the secretary is making was we know something about how to combat that. When it comes to cryptocurrency, we may learn how to combat that too, but we're going to need to learn to combat it, and so it's reasonable for the government to ask that Libra think that through and be regulated first.
The zealots would say, okay, cash was never used for nefarious activities. Where's the missing 21 trillion?
Yeah, no, you're right, Joe.
That's what the true believer believes. Fiat currency.
Yeah. So perhaps Libra will give yet another avenue for that.
I'm not talking about Libra. And to say we got to look whether we allow this to move forward. The horses left the barn on Bitcoin. It's already moved forward. So
you know, Joe. What I wish would happen is that Facebook would itself make a proposal for how it would self-regulate and how government should regulate it. Remember, they have the technologists. They know what they intend to do. They have plenty of lawyers and lobbyists. And to go in front of Congress, it reminds me of the Facebook hearings of a year ago, which were a dialogue of the deaf, because these members don't ask very good questions. They clearly don't know exactly where they're going, and so before they go forward, I wish Facebook would itself make a proposal, and that's true of social media as well. I mean, let's not lose sight of the big one here. We got an election coming up. And we still haven't landed the plane of regulation and self-regulation in social media. And we're off talking about Libra.
Let me ask you a question. Let's again stipulate that Libra is a very different animal than Bitcoin.
Yeah. Yep.
I understand how you could regulate Libra because I know who to call.
You can track it down.
I can track it down. If I want to make them a bank, I can force them to be a bank.
Yep.
I see it. It's very obvious to me. And if you regulate it that way, and that's the way the U.S. government decides that crypto or digital currencies / commodities / everything need to be regulated, I then struggle because of the inherent value system and creation and the way Bitcoin was developed to understand how you could regulate it, given that it is almost unregulatable.
I'm not sure it's unregulatable, but it has some features that we need to protect ourselves. The critical thing is security from terrorism, security from child pornography, all of these kinds of things, illicit payments. Joe's very good point. And all the cryptocurrencies, there is a way.
Yeah, it's eponymous, not anonymous.
I mean, there is a way to do it. You're absolutely right, Andrew, that Libra is different technologically from Bitcoin in the way it's implemented, and it has some advantages.
Yeah, that's how it's different.
But they're both it can be done in both cases, and it needs to be done because we need to protect ourselves. And I continue to think that given the government's and particularly the legislative branch's deficiencies in understanding these things, why doesn't the company, if they want to make a proposal?
If you lose the password and code for your Bitcoin, I'm not talking about losing your password for Coinbase or wallet, but you lose the actual token codes, there's nobody to call. There's nobody that's going to help fix this for you. If you're in your business, the security business, you can't track it ahead of time. You can maybe look at it after the fact, once the money has moved. And that's not to say you can't, track, it's hard to track the briefcases of cash in advance, but you got to carry a lot of briefcases relative to how quickly and efficiently you can do it on the computer.
Right. So it's different from Libra. I agree with you. I don't believe that Bitcoin is completely impenetrable in that regard. Remember, there's a permanent record.
And then Libra, you've got centralization, you've got these financial institutions keeping the float. You've got Mark Zuckerberg involved.
I'm not arguing one is better than the other. I'm just saying I understand how to regulate one better than the other.
It's like a debit card versus a transformative disruption to the way currency has been for the last you said it. One's digital gold, and the other one is just like a debit card. I just don't think Libra solves any. It doesn't do any of the things that blockchain and Bitcoin allows with distributed
it can help
ledger
unbanked.
and
It can help
decentralization.
banks
Right. Okay.
and
That's,
banks.
Well, Joe,
that's
I
good.
may
question is,
But the
solving
unbanked
for
is not what people are excited about. They're
No,
excited about fiat currency.
I think it's
profligate central
very different, but it
bankers
can help the unbanked.
around the world debasing currencies in tandem. That's what they're.
But I don't. But I
in
think.
unison.
But I think regulators don't want to undo that. What regulators want to do, as you heard from Stephen Mnuchin, they want to lower fees, transaction fees. If they can lower transaction fees, they think they've won the game.
Right.
And so the question is, does Bitcoin do that or does Libra do that without undoing these
Regulators
other issues?
better be on their game if they think they're going to regulate something that's already out there.
Again, I would say the people who are developing the technology owe us a proposal in this regard, and also in regard to social media.
I feel like they're
going
trying
into
to dodge
the
it.
election.
They want the regulators to make the call. You're saying it should come the
pass
other
it
way
over to the
because they
other
get
side.
it.
And I mean, let's be clear: the government has its deficiencies in responding to things technologically fast. So if Facebook wants to do it fast, make us a proposal.